You're live now.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Builders of Bharat. This is an exclusive series where we delve deep into the careers of successful tech leaders and understand how they got to the success that they've achieved. Today, we have a guest who's crafted his own niche in the world of stockbroking by building spectacular technology across companies in that very field. We welcome Vikas Rana today in our session. Hi, Vikas.
Thank you, Mukul. Thank you for your time. It's very nice to connect with you guys.
Awesome. We're really looking forward to this as well because I guess in today's world, it's very rare where people kind of stick to one thing and kind of develop expertise in one particular field. And it's not just that it's technology or a particular technology. With you, it's a particular domain. And kind of understanding the inner workings of it must have been a very fun experience for you. Before we get into how you got into stockbroking, I'd love to know how you were like in school, and how your inclination towards technology began.
Right. So I was a good student. I came from a very small town called Firozpur in Punjab.
Mhm.
So I was a good student. After that, when I started preparing for the engineering exams, actually, then I got to know there are branches like CSE and mechanical and civil and other branches of
Yeah.
engineering. But I was always fascinated by the computers because
Mhm.
when I grew, I saw that. Uh, Something like mobile phones actually came those times. So Android
Mhm.
phones was the first ones which came in like 2009 and 10. So I
Right.
was very fascinated about it. So I
Mhm.
started my first stint with it from Android development.
Mhm.
So yeah, so that's how I actually started. And then I even in my engineering also I worked on mobile phones mostly.
Awesome, awesome. So before we get into how you got into Android development, what was the thought process when you were kind of getting into an engineering college? We all know how entrance exam fever is, and
Exactly.
yeah. So let's skip to the part where you've gotten into the college and you've just been exposed to this all of this information. I know the school curriculum we have, it does not prepare you for engineering very deeply. But what was the experience like back then?
Yes, so I came from a very educational family actually. My
Mhm.
father, my brother, they worked in a college, and so I knew that I wanted to go for engineering. Uh,
Mhm.
but choosing computer science, that was the thing which actually took time because wanted to go for some other streams as well. But when I actually used the mobile for the first time, that was
Yeah.
the first thing that I wanted to go into computer. I want to make the apps, all those things.
Mhm. Right.
So that's what I did. And then again, the preparing for these exams. So I knew I wanted to do science after that, and then I prepared for it. I actually got some good colleges, but this college was very near to my hometown. That is why I joined it. There
Mhm.
was no other reason. Yeah.
Amazing, amazing. And how was it like, sitting for placements and landing an internship with Wipro? What was that experience like? Obviously, you moved to Gurgaon with it as well.
Yes.
So,
Yes.
how was that?
Oh yeah, so that was actually a very daunting experience because I came from a very small town. I never came to Delhi before. Okay, so that was
Mhm.
my first time when I came to Delhi NCR and then moved to Gurgaon at the first. I didn't know a lot of things about big cities, but after coming here, it took a good amount of time, like a month, to actually get settled down here. And after that, so I got the Wipro in my placements. I got some other companies as well during my placements, but
Yeah.
Wipro was the one which actually I wanted to go in because it's a very big company. So I thought
Right.
that my learning will be great there. So that is
Yeah.
why I joined Wipro. And yeah,
Mhm. So how was the learning like? And I mean, you joined for an internship. So
yes.
how did you move from, deciding that, hey, this is good for an internship, but maybe I want to pursue a full-time career somewhere else?
Yes. So yeah. So actually, what happens with these companies like Wipro, Infosys, and TCS? they
Mhm.
usually give you 6 month internship before, and then they give you a good project or
Yeah.
something. Yeah. So when I joined the Wipro, I got that first internship,
Mhm.
and for the first 2 months, it was all new, but I learned whatever they can. And but the level of development which I wanted during my initial days of development, okay, so
Yeah.
that was not there. So
Mhm.
I was not getting a lot of good projects there. So in internship, they were not giving me those kind of responsibilities. So after
Mhm.
2 3 months, actually, I was like, I think I'm not made for these MNCs.
Yeah.
So then I tried looking for some other things.
Mhm.
Yeah, then I shifted to Cube 26.
And how was Cube 26 like? How was it different
So,
from
yeah, so Cube 26 was a hot startup at that time,
Mhm.
based out of New Delhi.
Yeah.
I joined them like in 2016, and we used to build OEMs OS for the mobile manufacturers like
Mhm.
Panasonic, Carbon, Lava at that time.
Yeah.
So I used to work on OEM and at that time. Yeah, so that's it.
Mhm. Awesome. Awesome.
Yeah.
And you moved from there again in a short stint to Viral Curry. And
Yes.
tell me something about Viral Curry because it does not draw a lot
Yes.
in my brain.
Yeah. So it was my friend's startup. So
Awesome.
he was, yeah. So from like for 2 3 months, he was actually pursuing me to join them.
Mhm.
So I joined them and helped them build a product called Testify.
Okay.
That was the time pre-geo,
Mhm.
pre-free internet, and we
Yeah.
built more in like a social media for them.
Right.
And that social media actually we scaled it to more than 1 million downloads at that time,
Awesome.
and like in a time of 7 to 8 months actually.
Mhm.
And yeah, so after 6 to 7 months, actually I worked for them.
Mhm.
But yeah, that was pre-geo time, so that is we were not getting any revenue. So that's it.
Right. Got it, got it, got it. And how was it like, because this was ideally your initial experience building something from absolute scratch. So what
Right.
was that experience like? Because moving from, I guess this is within 1.5 year span
Yes.
where you moved from an MNC like Wipro as a fresher to building something from scratch. So how did
Right.
that feel?
That was great. The one actually motive to shift was, of course, the learning, which I
Mhm.
got there. Building from scratch, building the whole mobile team for them,
Mhm.
and then also help them hire the backend people who can help us build the scalar infra as well. So yeah, learning was the perspective which I wanted to get there, and yeah, that's it.
Awesome. So that transition, and I mean, I understand that since it was pre-geo, even
Right,
downloads did not translate a lot into revenue. But you
exactly.
moved on to a company that's quite, I mean, you moved on to Tradelab, where your initial project was with a company that's very known for its profitability and being, a big company that comes out from India. I also guess this was your first introduction to the world of stockbroking when you started working with Zerodha. So you
Yes,
were working with
yes,
Tradelab, but you're working on a project with Zerodha. So what was that like?
yes, yes. So what happened is, in July 2016, actually,
Mhm.
2016. So I joined Tradelab, and
Mhm.
I didn't knew before that we were working with Zerodha at that time.
Yeah.
So when I joined them at Bangalore, so I
Mhm.
got to know that we were working from Zerodha office at that time and building with them some products. Yeah, so we were their technology partner at that time,
Right.
and for the first a year and two, we worked with them with a lot of
Mhm.
products in the back end, in the front end. Their most popular trading platform, EXE,
Yeah.
which they use Pi. So that is
Yeah.
developed by the Trade Lab at that time. So
Awesome.
it was a quite a good learning.
Mhm.
I was also very new to the fintech at that time, but
Yeah.
yes, yeah.
So were you interested in stockbroking personally? Were you like invested into stocks at
Before
that time?
before joining Trailer, no.
Yeah.
I came from, as I told you, that I came from
Mhm.
a very educational background, which where my father is working at a college, my brother is working at a college. We were not into this financial knowledge. That was not that much around me at that time.
Yeah.
Yeah, but after joining, I got to know about this, the trading,
Mhm.
investing, and other kind of investings like FD, insurance.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I did that after that.
Awesome. Awesome. And you also kind of scaled your team there as well in your
Exactly.
initial
So
stint. Yeah.
So I was the first one which they had for their mobile team.
Mhm.
Yeah, so as I told you that I started as an Android developer from the very
Yeah.
starting. They
Yeah.
also had me as an Android developer first, but after joining, I got to know that it's not that much of a smaller product. So we
Mhm.
need to have a very good team. But the
Yeah.
initial for more than 1.5 year, I was the only developer who built their first MVP, then scale
Mhm.
it to 4 to 5 brokers because we used to give products, white label products to the brokers across India, and
Awesome.
even we were also giving some products to crypto firms. So yeah,
Mhm.
so I was the first
Amazing.
one. Then when we scaled, we hired more people. We had a then after 2 years, we had a very good strong team, near about 10 people in the mobile
Mhm.
team.
And what was it like being, you were obviously early into your career, but yet again being a part of a journey where you were, into the early stages of building something. And
Yes.
what were the learnings, getting into the financial angle? And I'm sure that had a lot for you to adapt to, right? Because understanding the product, understanding the offerings must have been a big part of development back then as well.
Yes. So the most important thing to learn is compliance in fintech.
Hmm.
So if you don't follow compliance, your product is worthless
Yeah,
in India. So the most important. So I it took time to
right.
actually get around with all the compliances which you can know. But still, you miss a lot sometimes.
Hmm.
But over the time, you actually get to know. It grows on you. So those
Yeah.
compliances actually grows on you. You already know that if something you are developing, it will hamper any compliance and which
Hmm.
can affect your company. So that's what I actually learned more
Yeah.
there. And yeah.
Awesome. Awesome. And so, was there a part of you that when you were developing all of these products that were in the financial domain that got you as well into investing as an individual?
Yes. So I got to actually I went into trading a
Hmm.
little bit, more probably like automated trading.
Right.
Okay, so that's what I wanted to go in, but uh, over the time I got to know that that is not sustainable for me over
Yeah.
a long time. Okay,
Right.
because I have other responsibilities. I
Hmm.
can't do it full time. So I actually then get into investing.
Hmm.
Now, proper systematic investing I do every month. And
Awesome.
according to me, every software engineer should do it because they don't know about it.
Right.
Yeah, so that thing we need to do.
Awesome. Awesome. So you worked on a lot of projects for Tradelab, and a lot of those were, HDFC, INFL, SAS Online, Alice Blue, Masterclass. What was it like, gathering all this perspective from, a variety of fintech companies? And, so all of this must have exposed you to a lot of ideas. So, what was that exposure like for you, coming from a non-financial background, especially?
Right. So, yes. So all these are essentially are brokers, uh,
Mhm.
stockbrokers in India, and we build them stockbroking product like trading platforms. But over
Mhm.
the time, after like let's say 2 3 years, we also introduce mutual funds
Mhm.
and then bonds. So every asset class, learning about every asset class, every 2 3 years, you are learning a new asset class and building a
Mhm.
product around it. So that was a good learning for me there.
So- And within 5 years, you scaled from, a senior developer to the head of engineering. What
Yes.
would you say to, developers who kind of get anxious about, not getting any growth, but you've seen that and experienced that growth working at a company. So what would you say to them about your experience, scaling in your position?
Yes. So what happens is if you work at a startup, of
Mhm.
course, you have room to grow.
Yeah.
There is a risk associated with it, but that's a risk. If you can take it, take it,
Mhm.
because that risk can actually give you multifolds in your learnings, in your
Mhm.
position, maybe in terms of your remuneration as well.
Right.
So that's what I did. We were a startup. We were working on multiple products, and
Mhm.
then I got that opportunity to lead a full product from scratch again after 5 years. So I did
Right.
that.
Yeah. So that was HDFC, I'm guessing.
Yes, yes.
So how was it like transitioning from, a company that was serving multiple clients to kind of owning your, product there at HDFC?
Right. So HDFC Sky essentially,
Mhm.
that is also a trading product from
Yeah.
HDFC Securities,
Right.
and so in that product we built it from scratch. The
Mhm.
whole, not only trading product, their mutual fund, as well as we also gave new asset class, that was US equities. So
Okay.
people can invest in US equities as well. So these three
Mhm.
asset classes, we defined what we need to do. That project also took like more than 1.5 years to actually
Yeah.
get completed. But
Yeah.
yes, it's very difficult to work with bigger, you can say, clients like
Mhm.
that, also like banks, because the
Mhm.
expectations they have can vary. But over
Yeah.
the time, you also get to know that whatever they want, they also want to build a trust among their clients.
Right.
So yes, even though you are from a startup, but trust among
Mhm.
the clients is the first thing you need to implement. So that's
Right.
what we do.
Awesome. Awesome. So, what was your experience? So, when you moved to a company like HDFC Sky, obviously you're building from scratch. But as you mentioned
Right.
before, the compliance, how did that change when you were working, as a head of engineering at HDFC Sky,
Yes.
in terms of, earlier when you were working with Tradelab and working with
Yes.
multiple clients, it must have been different the way you approached compliances. But now
Yes.
that you're working with HDFC Sky, you have to focus a lot more on compliances. So how was that change, and how
Yes.
did you manage that change?
Yes. So at SDFC, we have a separate team who actually do audits of your codes,
Hmm.
audit of your whole product, like in the back end, front end, everything.
Hmm.
So that, even we also had to get some compliance certificates for that as well. So
Right.
all those things actually was very new to me and my team.
Hmm.
And but we did it after learning about those.
Hmm.
Yeah. So compliance for banks are actually more,
Yeah.
not less, but they have more, and it's for the safety of Indian consumer. So
Right. Absolutely.
we were also very much into it that we should do it, and we did
Hmm.
it. Then after that, yeah.
Yes. Yes. And so coming to a more wider picture where we understand, the various moves you had. So was it a conscious decision to kind of, were you that into stockbroking, or was it your understanding that, I've created a kind of niche for myself? Did you realize that as you were going, or was that something that you realized in hindsight?
Uh, Actually, it helps to
Hmm.
get into your next opportunity, because
Hmm.
it's not very much of a big market. Okay, it's a
Right.
very small niche market. People
Hmm.
actually know you. If you are working at a one stockbroker, a lot of other stockbrokers already know who is building tech for that broking firm.
Right.
Uh, so though that is why it's a very small market, which helps you to grow more.
Hmm.
And one more thing, if I actually shift to some other project apart from fintech, it's also going to be very difficult for me to actually adapt from the scratch, right?
Absolutely.
So all my experience which I gained over the last 10 years,
Hmm.
that will help me in my tech experience, but not in my fintech experience.
Right.
So that is why I already have a good knowledge of the financial ecosystem of India now.
Hmm.
I want to build it in that only for whatever the time I have
Absolutely.
more into tech. So yeah,
Mhm.
yes,
For developers who are watching us right now, Is it better? Is it a better time to kind of, early in your careers, explore a lot of categories and be a generalist, or kind of develop your niche and hone in on one particular domain?
I think for initial 2 to 4 years, I guess,
Mhm.
explore whatever domain you can, because when
Right.
you will explore, you get to know that which domain you can actually stuck to.
Mhm.
For example, I have a lot of colleagues who worked in fintech, those who worked in social media, those who worked in e-commerce. Uh,
Yeah.
who is working in e-commerce? They're still working in e-commerce, maybe at a different
Mhm.
company.
Yeah.
So because that knowledge which you gained over the time, you actually
Mhm.
try two, three things, then you choose one,
Yeah.
right? So that every developer should do.
Mhm.
Yes.
So if you were to summarize all of your, learnings working in the stockbroking world, uh, in 5 points, what would those be?
Okay. So in stockbroking, first of all, the compliance, of course, again, I will say
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
compliance is the first thing. And the other thing is in Indian stockbroking industry, there are very few players who are just giving white label solutions.
Right.
So if the opportunity is immense,
Mhm.
more than 95% of brokers in India, they don't have their own in-house tech team.
Okay.
Everything is white labeled. So if anyone else also wants to come into stockbroking, it's a good
Mhm.
opportunity actually to
Okay.
help them grow. Yeah.
Awesome. Awesome. So about the opportunity you see, obviously that there is, investing as a whole is picking up in India and people are becoming more financial literate. We've seen it from the technology side. From the business side, what has the growth been like? So you've obviously witnessed, a lot of years of a lot of stock broking companies, and obviously Tradelab exposed you to a variety of stock broking companies. So how has the stockbroking, business grown across these years?
Yes. So during lockdown, actually, a lot
Mhm.
of people, when they got time to sit back at home, getting their salaries every month, they
Yeah,
actually got into investing and trading a lot.
yeah,
Okay, so every broker in India, every broker got a very big chunk out of it. So
right.
the people actually learned how to trade and all. And even
Mhm.
the times like these, when platforms like Instagram and YouTube, it's very easy to learn as well. So
Right.
a lot of young people are coming into this industry, and so
Mhm.
business is good. Business is good as a stockbroker. If you see the top stockbrokers, they're all profitable and
Yeah,
very good profitable. That is why every player right now comes into this.
yeah.
Even let's say PhonePe is coming into this as well.
Right, right, right. Awesome, awesome. So we're going to play a quick game of rapid fire, and you've been at multiple companies and multiple industries. So if you were to pick between BFSI or social media, what would it be?
BFSI.
Awesome, awesome. Why? Because I understand that monetizing the social media platform was a bit of a challenge. But apart from that, what really attracts you to, let's say if
Okay, okay.
hypothetically, yeah,
Right. So I actually worked on two social media platforms during my
right,
time. So one
right.
is Turnip, one is the Testify.
Mm-hmm.
So I actually see a lot of potential in social media, but the thing which I can connect to, that is BFSI.
Right.
I can connect to these all fintech products, even the
Mm-hmm.
insurance products, even the FD products. So
Mm-hmm.
I actually BFSI is the thing which I will choose.
Okay. And what do you enjoy more, a full-time role or a consulting gig?
It depends which phase you do. But yeah, full time is good because you actually delved into the problem. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
so these problems are very big actually. These problems are not very small.
Yeah,
And when you divide those problems, it actually got a lot of problems which you have to solve.
yeah,
If you are full time, it's very easy to work on those problems.
because you can
When you are
focus.
consulting, yes, when
Yeah,
you are consulting, you are not actually getting delved into those issues to actually solve.
on a
So
deeper
I
level.
think full time is better.
Awesome. So if you're a problem solver, you need to focus on one particular problem. kill it.
Exactly,
Awesome.
exactly.
So what has been the best moment in your professional life?
Yeah, when actually HDFC Sky got launched,
Okay.
and that was a very big project, which
Mm-hmm.
actually we were, my whole team, my whole company, we were
Mm-hmm.
trying very hard for more than 2 years for that.
Mm-hmm.
And when it got launched, it was a very happy moment. That was the best moment for us.
Awesome, awesome. And what do you remember? I mean, first of all, can I ask how old you were? Because I think that's going to be
I'm
very
30.
fun.
I
No,
last October I turned 30.
so back when HDFC Sky launched, how old were you?
I would say 29. Yeah,
Awesome, awesome.
28, 29. Yeah.
And at such a young age, you were leading the whole team of HDFC Sky. I think that's really
Yes.
incredible.
Yeah.
Amazing,
Thank you.
amazing. If for a day you could choose to be a superhero, which superhero would you choose to
I would say Iron Man.
be? Okay.
Actually, I'm a big fan of Marvel Universe. So I would say Iron Man.
And is that because of the technology?
Uh, because he has no superpower, first of all.
Right, right,
Okay,
right.
so he built everything. So that's why the Iron Man, without any superpower, to do a lot of things, to build a
Yeah,
whole suit and everything, fighting everything. So Iron Man.
amazing, amazing. Uh, so what? So this might be a little personal, but what was the most embarrassing moment of your professional life?
I actually, during my time, I worked on a lot of products which actually didn't even get launched.
Okay.
So those were all embarrassing. Sometimes you worked
Mm-hmm.
for more than a year and still didn't got launched. I
Mm-hmm.
will give you one example. Like
Mm-hmm.
near 2018,
Mm-hmm.
crypto was at boom in India.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
there
yeah.
were a lot of platforms in India which were actually getting launched near crypto.
Mm-hmm.
We were also working on a crypto product which we were trying to launch at that time, but
Right.
due to compliance, again some regulations from the government, we were not
Mm-hmm.
able to. So that was the
Yeah,
most
that
embarrassing
whole
thing.
time was very uncertain because the regulations were coming
Exactly,
in. So and on a daily basis, it used to be something new. Uh,
exactly. So that's what happened
even
with us. We invested a good amount of money, manpower to for those
Mhm.
products,
Yeah.
but we were not able to launch it here to the
Mhm.
people. So
But I guess
that
the
was embarrassing.
crypto world must have been really interesting to get into as well, especially with how the hype was back then. Because
I would say actually crypto is a very good technology wise.
Mhm.
The use case as a human we actually got out of it, that was an issue.
Yeah,
So if you see the whole science behind the crypto,
yeah,
that
absolutely.
is different. But we
Mhm.
made it into coins, and people buy those coins, and then
Yeah,
that thing. That is what where
the
not
Ponzi schemes.
everybody exactly. So
Yeah.
that's what happens. So
Yeah.
there were the use cases where we can use it, but
Mhm.
the coins that was wrong.
Yeah. But yeah, definitely, as you said, I think one of my favorite parts were DAOs, right? So it was like freelancing, but in a crypto format where you could actually have ownership of the project you were working.
Right.
So all of crypto had great use cases, but it got famous for the wrong reasons.
Exactly.
And that's why a lot of strict regulation came into it as well, I guess. What was the
Exactly.
biggest learning from your work experience?
The biggest learning is I'm still learning, I would say,
Mhm.
because every now and then uh, a new asset class came into this market.
Yeah.
And I actually work with a lot of software engineers within my team. I get
Mhm.
to know that because those people actually teaches you how India works, right?
Mhm.
Though the people who don't have any knowledge about where to invest, where to
Yeah.
keep your money, people just keep their money in your saving accounts, not even in
Yeah.
FDs. So
Yeah.
these kind of smaller things, which actually I got to learn, now I teach it to my colleagues, my
Mhm.
teammates, outside teammates. I do that.
Awesome. Awesome. So, in your consulting experience, you work with multiple founders, right? So,
Yes.
how was it like? It was obviously different from having a full-time role and kind of having a dedicated purpose to each day. Because here, as you said earlier, there is a lesser focus on solving the problems on a deeper level as you would as a full-time employee. So how
Right.
difficult was it to kind of adapt and kind of, because as a problem solver, you find a problem and then you're conditioned to kind of go in and say, hey, I'm going to solve this as I know. But at the same time, when you're
Right.
consulting, it comes with its limitations. So how difficult was it to adapt to that?
It is very difficult actually to
Mm-hmm.
work with the different founders actually,
Right.
because they have their own character first of
Mm-hmm.
all,
Yeah.
and some of may don't have the knowledge of
Mm-hmm.
the tech industry, that how the tech component of their business will work, right?
Right.
So uh, first of all, my job is to actually get them on the same page,
Mm-hmm.
that this is what we are going to build and this is how it will work.
Right.
Okay, so whatever the business logic they are want to build around it, so build it around it. That's it. So that's
Yeah.
what I need to do, and
Mm-hmm.
some are very good as well. I work with
Mm-hmm.
the very good co-founders as well.
Right.
I'll give you an
So,
example like Turnip.
yes.
So I worked with Aditya. Aditya
Mm-hmm.
was the CTO of Turnip. Still the
Mm-hmm.
CTO of Turnip. It's a he's like very good co-founder which I have worked with.
Right.
Yeah,
Amazing. Amazing. So a lot of folks, especially with how consulting and freelance and gig work is kind of picking up right now, they want to work on exciting products and building things from scratch. How did you approach and get to know people in this area who were looking to build, and did they approach you versus did you approach them? How did that work?
so mostly with it happens mostly with connections.
Right.
My experience in with my connections actually, they refer me sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what happens. Even if I get something, I know,
Mm-hmm.
if for example you have any use case
Yeah.
regarding anything regarding stockbroking or maybe
Right.
any fintech thing. So
Mm-hmm.
I already have people who can help you build that. So that's
Right.
how this industry works. If you have your connections,
Mm-hmm.
you will get good work, and
Mm-hmm.
if you work with them, they will give you more work. So that's how this whole industry works.
Yes. And so obviously a lot of you developing connections had to do with your experience in the field. But
Exactly.
so do you have any tips for developers on how they can, make these connections, especially because a lot of people work remotely now. So there is not an in-office setup where you can actually seek mentorship. So how do
Exactly.
you how do you suggest for them to kind of make these connections?
Uh, First of all, so there are parts of it. Okay. So first of
Mm-hmm.
all, when you are starting your career, uh, build as many projects as you can. Maybe
Right.
personal projects that
Mm-hmm.
will help you more. I will give you an example like build a calculator first, then build a
Mm-hmm.
scientific calculator. So you will get to know a lot of things, but
Right.
that will be your first product which you can actually show to someone, right?
Mm-hmm.
Then build some other product. Whatever comes to your mind, write it and then code it. So
Yeah.
that's how when you will code it, you will show it on your LinkedIn, maybe some other platform as well. And the
Mhm.
like-minded people will actually connect with you. Then
Yeah.
you will, first of all, you will connect with the developer circle. And after,
Mhm.
when you have the experience, like let's say more than 4 5 years of experience, and
Right.
you will have experience in some domain. So those
Mhm.
domain guys will also connect with you for that. So that's how, start from a very small thing,
Mhm.
build your personal products.
Amazing. Amazing. So, you're currently working full time on Pocketful, and
Yes.
you're the head of engineering there. What has it been like? And before we get into deep, because I understand that Pocketful is in its early stages right now, if you could tell our audience in one sentence what Pocketful is all.
Um, Pocketful. So Pocketful is also a stockbroking product.
Mhm.
We are working on very uh, niche features for traders
Okay.
as well as for investors. So
Okay.
that's what we are focused on in this product. We are
Mhm.
not like giving some generic product to everyone.
Right.
We have already have a product timeline that
Mhm.
we will build very niche products uh, for the traders. Then we will
Mhm.
give some product directly for the investors. And
Mhm.
yeah, so that's how we are approaching this whole journey.
And would you say your understanding of brokers, traders, and investors as a whole, the users, how important is it to understand these users to kind of build your product?
It is very important. On
Mhm.
daily basis, we actually connect with traders, investors, with the
Mhm.
common man as well. Like for example, if I'm connecting with the anyone who even I don't know, but I still ask
Yeah,
some questions like, do you invest? How do you
yeah,
invest? Which
yeah.
platform you use? Why do you
Mhm.
use? So all those
Right,
questions I already have in my mind whenever I connect with someone.
right.
So that helps me to actually learn that what
Mhm.
a common man actually wants is doing in the market, right?
Mhm.
So sometimes
Mhm.
what happens is you working on a product, you got so dealt into it, you actually forget the picture, how the people are seeing it.
Yeah.
But I'm trying to do my part by connecting to everyone. That how, yeah.
So Vikas, you obviously shared a lot of insights on how you can kind of create your niche and then create demand for yourself. Because obviously, you being able at a young age, mind you, you being able to kind of consult multiple startups on a particular niche is it's generally because you kind of work so hard into developing expertise into that field. What message would you have to for developers, who are looking to break into, their careers, especially with the kind of noise around us right now? What kind of message would you like to send out to them?
uh, Again, learn as much as you can,
Hmm.
focus on one thing and try to execute it first before jumping to another. So
Okay.
then you will actually know why you are not going to pursue the first one, right? So
Right.
gain as much experience as you can, learn as much
Hmm.
as you can, and build some your personal products. I will say that though that experience will help you more than anything
Hmm.
else. So
Okay.
yeah.
Amazing. Also, you've gotten into leadership roles pretty early in your career. So, how has that experience been? Managing people, managing young people, mind you, and what kind of adaptation did you do to yourself when you were kind of leading people?
It is actually very difficult for someone who is actually at one time who is actually developing some software and then actually shift to leading the team and then
Yeah,
managerial role. It is
yeah.
very difficult, but
Hmm.
you actually get when you work at a lower level, then you know that
Hmm.
at senior level how you will actually get the work from your subordinates.
Right.
So what I did is I actually get to know that all my team members have different talent, right? Some are
Hmm.
very good coders, some are very good communicators, some are, so I already know the people. So
Hmm.
that helps me.
Hmm.
That helps me actually see that what kind of product my team can build.
Yeah.
That helps. And yeah, it is difficult in the initial stage, but now
Hmm.
it's okay. Yeah.
Amazing. Yes. So Vikas, this has been amazing, and you really helped. I guess the biggest learning for any developer who's watching would be to kind of stick to one thing, solve it to the depth, really understand the problem. And as you said, I mean, when you were talking about Pocketful, right? I realized when you said niche problems that they're facing, a lot of problems get missed because of people trying to build for the masses, right? But if you actually
Exactly.
get to know your user and get to know their day-to-day problems, you can create solutions that really make a lot of impact. And
Right.
it's really clear that you've done that. Obviously, for anyone who's in technology to understand the compliance side of things is also very important. So thank you for sharing all of these gems with our audience, and for all of our audience watching today. We'll be back next week with another session. And until then, thank you and have a great day. Thanks, Vikas.
Thank you, Mukul. Thank you, Recto.